Hello and welcome back to Just for Fun, Casual Magic the Gathering gaming. But today, unlike usual, we are not playing a brew. We're not playing a fun deck, although it is an extremely fun deck to play. Let me tell you that. I will assure you of that. This is not a Just for Fun deck. This is a competitive deck. I went a little fucking apeshit and I decided to buy a legacy deck. So I was watching Caleb D. So shout out Caleb Durward and your fucking Kermit the Frog sounding ass. You're awesome. And I love this deck. I just love it. It's great. It's super fast. It's exactly what it feels like a legacy deck. It feels like you're a powerful fucking wizard, planeswalker, like BAMF, right? Badass motherfucker when you're playing this deck, right? This deck can kill on turn one. Legit. Even through disruption, and you can do it fairly often. It doesn't even take a nut draw. You can do it maybe 1 in 5 times, 1 in 6 times, right? Like 15-20% of the time. You can win turn 2 really easily. So it's super fast. You can draw your whole deck, and you can win in a few different ways, and it has a transformative sideboard, and it's just so cool. So let me show you how it works in case you haven't seen it in action before. 16 land. You'll notice mostly fetch lands, very few actual lands, because you want the redundancy to draw your combo. So what's your combo? Your combo is Entomb, or a discard spell on yourself, okay, to put Griselbrand in the graveyard, and then you can reanimate him with either Reanimate or ideally Goryo's Vengeance or Shallow Grave. So you dump him in the graveyard and reanimate with one of these. Then you start drawing cards, and if you draw the combo again, you can do it again. If you can do it twice in one turn, rather than getting Griselbrand with the second one, you get Emrakul, and you can reanimate it with Shallow Grave or Goryo's Vengeance, because these are instant speed. You can do it in response to the shuffle trigger of Emrakul, thus allowing you to attack for 23 flying damage on turn 1. The way to get all the mana to do this is with Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, and Chrome Mox. You can draw a bunch of free mana sources in order to play because your whole combo here of Shallow Grave, Emrakul, Shallow Grave, Entomb, or whatever is three mana. So if on your draw 7 you happen to hit Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Shallow Grave, Entomb, some combination of these cards, you can go off. It's very easy, especially because we got 4 probes as free draws, so free shots at another one, and we've got these selection spells to set everything up, so you can keep a hand that's missing one piece if you have enough cantrips in here to dig and set up the combo. Reanimate is kind of like a second choice. You don't really, first of all, you can't reanimate Emrakul. You can reanimate Griselbrand, but it's not as good because you're paying 8 life. So that means you can only activate the ability at most once, and you don't get to attack the turn you reanimate him to gain back life and draw more cards. So let's say after the first 14 cards off of Griselbrand, you don't hit enough to ditch Emrakul. Well, then you can attack and draw again. And then the backup plan at that point is you can still win on turn 1, even if you fizzle before, because you can draw into Children of Corliss. So you can either discard that and reanimate it, which is what the Reanimate is really there for. And this will, you sack this, and you gain life equal to the life you've lost that turn. So if you had, you know, I don't know, probed and then ditched Griselbrand, reanimated him, drawn 14 cards, that's 16 life, you know, you're at 4, maybe you're at 3 from fetching, right? You can gain 17 life with this, and draw, you know, 14 more cards. And what you do is you keep drawing all your cards till you draw your deck, by continuing to reanimate Children of Corliss, and you play out all your Chrome Moxes, Lotus Petals, and Dark Rituals, and you end up with a whole bunch of mana. And then what you can do is use Thoughtseize or Cabal Therapy to discard your Emrakul, shuffle all the rituals back in, and draw your deck again until you have enough mana to hard cast the Emrakul. And I've done that several times too. So what will happen then is you get the extra turn, which allows you to finish your opponent off, because they probably took 7 from your Griselbrand, and then, you know, the 15 next turn will be enough to kill them. So really, really fun. Another thing people do is put a single Tendrils of Agony in the main deck, because it's very easy to storm off with this deck too, between just naturally having rituals and free and cheap spells and stuff. Another interesting thing about it is you can sort of mask your game plan, because your deck looks a lot like Ad Nauseam Tendrils or Epic Storm or whatever. You know, just like a Storm deck. Game 1, if you don't like if you don't go off, you kind of look like you're playing Storm, so they don't know to fight you in the graveyard. Sideboard. So very tricky sideboarding with the deck, because you don't want to dilute your combo, right? You want to keep that speed. So if you're playing against another combo deck, or like burn or some kind of unfair type strategy, what you want to do is just try to win faster than them, basically. If you're playing against something that is fair, that's going to try to beat you with counter spells, like let's say a Delver type deck, or Miracles, or you know, something like that, that's going to have you know, Force of Will and Daze, and you know, things that are hard for you to interact with. What you can do is board out the Gorios and the Griselbrands, and board in the Monastery Mentors and the Swords of Plowshares, or the Surgicals, or whatever other spells you think are going to be best in the matchup, Chain of Vapor, whatever, and sort of transform into a Monastery Mentor deck. And because you have so many cheap spells, you can kill them with Monk tokens pretty easily. And that, because they might have brought in Graveyard Hate and stuff, it's not going to affect you that much. You are keeping some reanimates in and stuff, but still you're going to be able to probably fight through it pretty easily. Some other interesting tricks I found: you can entomb a Cabal Therapy and flash it back, so it's kind of like a tutor for a discard spell, kind of cool. You know, you have all the fetch lands there to shuffle for Brainstorm and Top, so you get a lot of rebuys off of the top of your deck. Entomb is also a shuffle effect for that, you know, for the same kind of purpose, so something else to keep in mind. And yeah, it's pretty, I don't want to say it's simple, because there's a lot of steps, and you'll see me like clicking and clicking and clicking, but because it's a lot to think about while you're playing it, there's a lot of moving parts. But once you get the hang of what's going on, it's like remarkably consistent. So I love this deck. It is competitive. So the first bunch of matches are me just kind of like practicing. I tried to play in tournament practice room, but in Legacy, not that many people play there, so it's very hard to actually find a match depending on what time of day or night. You guys know usually I don't get on till late because I gotta wait for my daughter to go sleep and all that before I can sit and play, devote the time. So first bunch of matches are just for fun room nonsense, and then I did record so far at least one tournament match, and I'm probably gonna play a league with this later once I feel like I know it really well and I'm really well practiced. I will do that. So I get mad at people for playing competitive stuff and just for fun room, but Legacy's a little tricky because really there's just not that many people playing, so it's kind of hard to get a matchup. So you got to take what you can get. Anyway, please watch, like, subscribe, comment, enjoy, and build this deck and play it because it is so much fun.